Hey guys, welcome to your 16th Java tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be working with multi-dimensional arrays and irregular arrays. So let's go to File, New, Java Project, Java, Lesson 16, and hit OK. Make sure that you add your package, com.dev club.lesson16. Hit OK, and add our class, which we're going to name main. Alright guys, I don't know where my package explorer is looking like this today. Here we go. Okay, so let's begin. The simplest form of a multi-dimensional array is a two-dimensional array. A two-dimensional array is a list of one-dimensional arrays. To declare a new two-dimensional array, what we do, we write int, and let's say table, and then there. New int, and then you declare it like that. So we've created this new table that has 10 rows and 20 columns. Alright, let's write ourselves a little program. Let's give ourselves int t, int I, and let's declare ourselves a table, and then 3, 4, and then inside of this we're actually going to assign it data. So let's say for, give ourselves a for loop, for t equals 0, while t is less than 3, we increment t. Nested inside here, again, we're actually going to give ourselves another for loop. And this time we're going to say I equals 0, I is less than 4, and then I is incremented up. Hello guys, forgot to put our main method. Public static void main string args. Alright guys. I use Control-Shift-F to make my code look a little bit neater. Alright. Inside our nested loop, what we're going to say is table t. You see how t is less than 3 and that corresponds to our rows, and then we're going to say I for our columns equals t times 4 plus I plus 1. It's table. And now what we're going to do is going to system.out .print, and I'm going to say table t I and then actually plus and give yourself a space on that. Get out of your for loop, and the internal for loop, and give yourself a print line. That way it'll look neater when we run it. Okay, so let's run our code. So what we have now is this is our first row, this is our second row, and this is our third row, and this is each column. See how this works, guys? Alright. Next I want to show you guys an actual example, like a real life example of what you can use irregular arrays for. Irregular arrays are arrays that don't all end with the same number of rows or the same number of columns. They're jagged arrays, and they're also referred to as that. And so I just want to show you a program that uses those. So clear out this. And let's write. Let's declare ourselves a new array, writers. And this is going to monitor how many times a week a bus or an airport shuttle or a school bus driver picks up students or workers or people in general. And it's going to monitor 7 days a week. And it runs, let's say, 10 times during the weekdays and twice during the weekends. So let's declare writers 0 equals new int 10. Let's copy and paste this. Tuesday. And what I'm going to say is 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on the weekends, they actually pick up 2 passengers instead of 10. I mean, it runs twice instead of 10 times. And that is how we declare our array, our jagged array. And I and j, now we're going to do is make some data, and we're going to do this with a series of loops. So for I equals 0, then I is less than 5, and I is incremented up. And then what we're going to do is this nested loop, j equals 0, j is less than 10, and then j is incremented up. And inside of here, we're going to say writers I and j equal I plus j plus 10. Outside of these nested 2 loops, we're going to give ourselves another for loop like this. And this is going to handle the data for this array. And what we're going to say is I is less than 7, and while j is less than 2, then it's the same problem. So this is for the data going through here, and this is swooping through the same amount of data, but it's only going to do it for when j is less than 2, and so it's not going to run on these loops. Alright, so now let's give ourselves some output. Writers per trip during the week, and that's going to equal a nested for loop, 4, and then we're going to say I equals 0, I is less than 5, and I is incremented up, and j equals 0, j is less than 10, and j is plus plus. And now what we're going to say is system.out.println, and then we're going to say writers I and j then we're going to say in that statement actually system.out.println. Outside of this loop, do a system.out.println. And then let's just copy and paste this. during the week in, and instead of 5, put 7, and instead of 10, put 2. Control Shift F to format our code to make it look all pretty. And what we're going to do is run our code. So riders during the week. This is the number of riders, and then riders per weekend. To make our data make a little more sense, let's remove these two systems so that way it's actually cycling for the day. So this is the end of our tutorial on jagged and multidimensional arrays. In our next tutorial, we're actually going to do an exercise where we work through more example problems like this and learn how to manipulate data better. So I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.